So here we are in Astia Studios in Lappeenranta, eastern Finland.
And we're recording our new album.
Our 7th album, called Two Paths, I think.
No.
Yeah. Anssi is the owner of the joint, the recorder, producer, engineer, backup vocals, bass player. He can do everything.
We also worked with him on the previous album, One Army.
Anssi's tough, but extremely good and total professional. It's so pleasant to work with him.
We first started with this album in January. We went to Astia Studio to make a demo with Anssi. In the demo recording we tried the difference. We recorded 2 songs straight to the tape and the others to the computer, and then we finally realized the huge sound difference.
When I started 25 years ago, audio engineering, I started with analog tape machine, and back then stuff sounded pretty good. I went to the digital path for several years and I was very disappointed with sound. So maybe 6 years ago we went back to using not the digital mixing consoles but the analog mixing consoles. And immediately things started sounding a lot better. So 1.5 years ago I went and bought this tape machine and immediately the sound was there. It's not a myth that the tape sounds better, but it actually does. Anyone can do the comparison if you happen to have a tape machine. So I decided to bring more energy and a kind of old school, good sounding music also to Ensiferum album.
Anssi as a producer is perfect for us, because for the last album he knows how to work with us and we know how to work with him.
Okay, when we're gonna do demos, should we try record stuff on that so you can just get to the feel? It's nothing new for us because we're old geezers to record on tape. That's how things were done when we started. And the very first album, Ensiferum, was also made that way. So we made the demos with Anssi, and already in that session he had very much input. Not composing wise maybe, because we had all the songs pretty much ready, but small details. What a good producer does.
The band wanted to cut down the symphonic parts, and also on the previous album, One Man Army, they had some choir parts done by other people. So this time they wanted to do all the choir parts themselves. So it's more raw, it's more rock, it has way more live energy, because when we did the demos for the songs, it sounded like more that metal or rock band is playing very tightly, and that's kind of the theme for the album, I think.
So all the drums, bass and rhythm guitars and his lead vocals are on a tape.
The album would have been done at least a week earlier if we would have taken 2 bars and or doing copy pasting. Like on Hate Crew Death Roll album by Children of Bodom, which I recorded and produced, we aimed for as long takes as possible. We aimed for maximum energy, and I think this album is kind of on the same level. There is this energy or presence factor involved.
The way drums were recorded was that the whole band was playing at the same time. Period. Like in rehearsal room, because that was the cornerstone for this album. We wanted to capture the live energy as well as possible.
We always done that when we record albums, that when we record the drums, that whole band plays at the same time, so you can get more of the live feeling, even you don't use the guitars and stuff. But we use most of the bass that were recorded at the same time with the drums, and most of the songs were just the whole take.
On the previous albums, Anssi has been really strict about the playing, that you need to be constantly on the grid and on time and all that one, and now he's saying that you guys play sloppier. We don't do that, so that has been probably the more the most difficult thing ever to actually still keep it tight, but more sloppy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it sounds weird, but
he still want to have this groove.
Yeah,
the
live feeling of it.
You know, you might be rocking in rehearsal room and have a lot of fun, but sometimes when you go into the studio, and I think that's with the majority of bands, when they go to the studio, they kind of put the suit on and they just play the songs like this, and they're not rocking like they are on stage. And I think we also made that kind of mistake. But for this album, we are older and wiser, and that's the direction we already wanted to go with the previous album.
And first time ever in this album, we recorded a couple of songs without any click track. We first recorded the track with a click, and then without a click. Guess how much was the difference in the song, like in the minutes and seconds? The difference of the take with the click track and without. 1 second. Anssi was like, what the fuck? How you can play like without a click track, so there's only 1 second difference with the song.
On this album we have not done any editing, and there will be no editing. There won't be any vocal tuning, because I think that's what's killing what's good in music. And we are already using the analog mixing consoles. Everything's been recorded through one, and it will be mixed on using an analog mixing console. I don't use any plugins. If I want to have a compressor, I'm using a hardware compressor. If I want to use an EQ, it's from this console, it's not some plugin. Because difference between plugins, it's funny thing, I don't know, those guys are genius who are marketing this stuff for people to buy, because everybody has the plugins, everybody uses DAW for recording, all the bands have it at home. But the comparison is like, if you have ever sat in behind the wheel of a Ferrari, and you have the engine running, and you press the accelerator pedal to the metal, and you feel it. It's the same like using analog equipment. And if you happen to have a PlayStation and you are playing, I don't know what those are, some car game, the Sega Rally or whatever those are, it's the same difference. If you play the PlayStation, oh, this is exactly like the real Ferrari. It's like, oh yeah, you have no idea what you're talking about. It's a mere shadow, and it has nothing to do with the emotion, kind of how it goes through your body.
But there is a big difference in the sound. Is it digital or analog? Okay, you might crucify me for things, but this session opened my eyes, well, my ears in a way. It was a big thing, and we have been already talking about the next album, and Anssi probably will get another machine, so then we will have 48 tracks, and then we're probably going to do the whole album just analog.
I have the hardware version, that wooden box. It's 2 meters, it weighs 200 kilograms, and there's a plate, a metal plate, and that vibrates to create the reverb. That one is from 50s. Over there is the second one, and that one is from 70s. Both are 2 versions, left one is mono, right one is stereo, and that's what I usually use for vocals. Other people use plugins, I use the real stuff. Fight!
For those about to fight for metal, gods of war, salute you all. For those who never lower their blade, we're blood brothers till the end.
Who never lowered their metal blades. Right?
Nimenomaan.
This whole band is just a perfect family package. I don't know how to say more.
Yeah, Ensiferum is definitely a band of 5 persons.
They all are very colorful, they all are highly talented. And not only as musicians, but also kind of on the creative process.
Yeah, well, he's usually coming with the new stuff to the rehearsal place.
And Sami as well.
Yeah, so then we check it out, like preliminary stuff, what to play, and then everybody does their own little tricks and naughty stuff on it, and then we set up maybe 3 microphones and make a really bad sounding demo at the rehearsal place, and see how that one sounds, and start to work on like from there actually.
And Janne, for example, he is one of the few drummers I have ever worked with. I've worked with many, and he can deliver one take from beginning to end, and I have nothing to say. I can't say that like play that differently, or that's not tight enough. He delivers everything on kind of on one go, and it's purely amazing. I still can't understand how he does it. And he also takes part in kind of creating the rhythms. Sometimes one of the band members can bring this is the song I had in mind, and Janne says let's keep the chords but not the rhythm. Let's do it totally different rhythm, and then it kind of becomes the awesome song which it is.
He's like Columbo. I don't know if you know the detective. You know, we might be in rehearsal room, we've been pondering some part for like 2 days and nothing happened. Everybody's like, okay, let's fucking forget this one. Then Janne goes out, have a smoke, comes back, and I have an idea. And then he might turn the whole idea upside down, and it just works. Like on the new album, there's a song called King of Storms. I remember recording that, and it was like a really almost ballad-like.
But it was like really doom, it was like really slow. And then in one rehearsal I just thought like, what if we just play it like fucking 10 times faster, how it sounds. And then everybody was like, yeah, fuck, it's much better that way.
Then Janne came to one rehearsal. Yeah, I've been listening to that. Should we add some beats per minute? And yeah, he added like 100. Yeah, and it's the fastest song in the album, and stuff like that. You know, you might have a good melody in your head, but then somebody comes there and, okay, let's twist it a little bit more, and
Sami has he writes all the lyrics, and he's a huge energy or innovator, and also kind of brings a lot of energy to the group when they are doing some group shouts or singing choir parts. I love watching Sami because he's like there's whirlpools of energy around him.
We only complain about the difficult words what he picked.
yeah.
That's the only thing. Well,
Because,
that's our right to do. But then he says like, "Fuck you! I don't give a shit. That sounds good." We're like, we'll see.
I think he's doing a very good job. The only problem is those difficult words.
Yeah.
So
Since English is not our native tongue.
what I, as a lyric writer, I've done for a couple of albums, I talked with Mahi that what's your feeling about this song or this part, and because I usually get some kind of idea for the songs, but that's something I learned from the past, that I don't start writing anything down before we have some kind of consensus of the song, what's about that and what the direction it's gonna go.
Then Markus, who is to me the primus motor of the band, he's the main composer, and his vision is very strong, and most of the time he's very right, but also we like to tease him because when he has something in his mind, he wants to keep it that way, and of course we are doing our best to push him over the edge sometimes, but he's totally amazing. Mahi is purely amazing, not appreciated enough as a vocalist because he's also an awesome vocalist.
Even though, like I said, we have 100% democracy, the way I see it, Markus will always have a certain kind of veto option. Because if 4 of us would just want to fuck with him and decide, okay, let's make just to get the idea, if we would decide, okay, let's do something totally different, like totally different, I think he should have veto options, say, fuck no, this is not what the band is about. But he never uses that. He's way too kind. And actually the most fucked up ideas come from him, so.
The accordion! Let's put it that way. This is one thing, but it's turned out to be even more cooler instrument than we originally thought.
And Netta is like real musician. I'm not.
I just play guitar and hang out.
I just play guitar. I might compose some melodies, songs and stuff, but she's like really, really professional, and she knows right away what they should do, and she knows what to play. She's like
too good to be true.
Yeah.
Could say it like
and
that, yeah.
she's giving ideas all the time when we are at the rehearsal room and also in here in studio.
Netta, she's a great musician, and it's very easy to work with her because she understands music very well. And already in this album, she made some parts of some songs, and she's doing some lead vocals even, and she brought more music for the band.
When our ex-keyboard player Emmy decided to step aside, it was really obvious choice to ask Netta first to do a couple tours and then ask her as a permanent member. So I told Netta from the beginning that don't be scared and just give as much input as you can, and she did. And I'm really proud that on the album there's one song that I would say 50-50, composed by her and Markus. Of course, that, like all songs, were arranged together, put together. Like all the melodies or parts came from her, and I'm really proud of that. And I think she has the best musical education of us, and that's what I really like about her and working with her. Well, first of all, she's an excellent singer, like virtuoso with the accordion. But the fact that she has played so many different kind of music, and plus the fact that she knows theory so well, so it's really easy to communicate.
I've been writing my own songs already like for many years, so I know how the process goes, and it has been feeling it's been like really natural for me to say my opinion and bring my own songs for them. It's really natural. Yeah, that's the word.
No words can describe the talent she has. Not only is she a talented accordion player, but also as a vocalist, because her vocals, she sang Neito Pohjolan on the previous album, and the whole band was blown away by her sound. And on this album, she's, as back then she was only a guest musician, now she's a permanent member, so she has more places to show her vocal skills. Surely amazing. I can ask Netta to play anything and she delivers immediately. It's not like I can't play it or I need to figure it out. Everything's figured out.
The purpose of acoustic accordion is the acoustic accordion, so all the accordion sound things. Well, I'm playing with a real accordion. That's the thing. And with the digital one, I'm doing all the, can I say, like keyboard parts. So strings, flutes, violin, choirs, everything like that. But I think this album is really good as a teacher for people that don't know the difference of digital and acoustic accordion. So we've been trying to show that you can do this and this with that.
Then there is Petri. I've worked with Petri on Norther albums. I can't even remember, I did a lot of Norther albums. I also toured with them, mixing them live on several shows. And Petri is purely amazing because when it comes to crawling vocals, I've been recording albums and doing lots of recording stuff where we have to spend like hours and hours and hours of recording vocals. But Petri goes into the vocal booth, 3-4 takes, and it's done. And it's amazing groove, amazing sound. It's from the first take, the sound is there, so we don't need to sing higher. It's not correct. It's always correct. And his guitar playing improves all the time. Both guitar players are actually amazing. Even on One Man Army, I was flabbergasted when I saw them play 16 notes on 205 tempo, all downstrokes. All downstrokes, 16 notes. It's like brrr, but all down. I was like, I don't believe it. I had to go there and kind of like watch very closely, and that's how it was.
He brings some more metal to the arrangement, because it's really easy to get carried away with the folk aspect, with especially the lighter songs. Because on rehearsal room, if Pete is not there, I usually play bass, obviously. I sometimes play guitar also. But when you have two guitars, it's totally different, because Markus usually plays the melodies. So then from another guitar you get totally different ideas. You know, oh, that's a good rhythm, or it changes everything, the rhythm guitar. And what I really love about Pete, you know, working with him in studio, because he has incredible voice, harsh voice, and it's really weird, you know, it's like an on and off button. He just goes to the booth and sing, please, and the sound comes out. I don't know how he does it. And like last night, he did like a couple hours of shouting and screaming and whatever, and that didn't do anything in his voice. I would be devastated. I couldn't be able to speak for weeks after that. And yeah, I love his voice. It's really good.
For those about to fight for mental control, salute your war. For those who never lower the blade, where my brothers till the end.
That always happens when I try to show this one. That one comes out automatically. It happens on stage too. It's really awkward.
Kiitos, tuu kuuntele. Kostu silmät tuossa lopussa.
Sama. Ihan käsi.
Wet eyes on the very last. All the hair is up on hands and feet. And viimeisessä lainissa kostu silmät.
Ihan mahdoton.
Kaikki karvat pystyt jaloin. They are totally dead.
Oh,
totally dead.
Nice
part again.
Joo.
Joo, kiva. Se oli vahinko. Kesken se oton edellinen laulu. Se voi tapahtua koneella.
Laitetaan nopeet kaksoppaa.
And the studio, Astia Studio, this is incredible. I think it's really one of a kind. You really forget the time Totally. We usually do like 12-hour days. I think last night was 14 hours. And it's really crazy that Anssi, well, you know, we can chill out every now and then. You know, Anssi is working all the time and he has 100% attention to every take. And I don't know how he does it.
Kind of like a normal day over here starts around 8:30. Gathering here in the kitchen, having the breakfast together. Then going to work around 10:30. Work until late. Yeah, it's really late. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very late.
It's very late. Yeah.
My clock is
So
free.
it goes really smooth. There's a lot of space in this studio, so if you kind of need some privacy, there's always some hole where you can hide yourself in, or you can just fuck off. There's a door right out what leads outside, and you can go to walk. It's like a few kilometers from the city center, so not that far. It's like 15 minutes walk. Actually, I've been there once in 5 weeks, so it's kind of far in the end. So, but otherwise, it's really nice place to work.
I want to be there all the time, even I'm not recording, even I'm not playing or singing or anything, but I want to be there all the time because I want to hear what people are doing. Of course, I could be
doing something else.
Doing something else, but
still,
but I'm kind of a second producer or something like that.
Supervisor.
So I have very long days, and for example now when it's like almost done, I'm like totally done. And even I haven't been drinking except this evening. I felt like I've been drinking during the whole session, even I haven't, but my mind is totally like fucked up.
Trying to stay that focused that we don't forget anything, so there's no weird surprises. For example, during the mixing of the album, like, oh shit, there was supposed to be a guitar line on there, and it's not. That has happened. Yeah.
And for example, today, when there was a small break, not even a break, he was still doing like some vocals, but those were like just a background vocals things. So I came here to check some orchestrations things with my computer. Meanwhile, so I had like 10 minutes, 15 minutes time to check some stuff, and then going back to the studio, and it's like big hassle, something like that. But in the end, it's worth it.
I want fans to know that the whole band has worked so hard for this album, and it hasn't been easy album to make, but it's made with love. It's our child. Before the studio even we worked like massively hard, and of course in the studio as well. So I want fans to know that it hasn't been easy to make this album. It's not always easy, but yeah. I want them to know that we've been working our asses off with this.
It's gonna sound more fucking kick-ass.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to say is like we haven't edited, we haven't tuned, we haven't copy paste, anything like that. So everything is pure. It's real.
Yes.
So maybe some people might think this is too, what is the word? Like
too good.
Too good.
Yeah. But believe it or not, we did it by ourselves.
when you're recording music, it's not just about recording the right notes. If that would be the case, we would just make MIDI tracks and that's it. Music is something much more.
One thing is, please, if possible, check the album on vinyl, because that's how you get to enjoy the whole album with the energy. If you have a turntable at home, please do a comparison. Take an album which is made, not the album is recorded, but the actual vinyl when it's been printed out, like before early 90s, for example, 70s, 80s, even early 90s, and most of those albums are done analog. And listen to that album, compare it to Spotify, compare it to YouTube, and be surprised.
We're never gonna grow up, grow old. We're growing, we're old, but grow up. So there will always be, no matter when we're, gray or bald or whatever, there's still gonna be some beer song on Ensiferum album of partying. So it's like the second last day, and now it's maybe time to open the beer. Maybe. Just really reckless band.
And this is the tape recording, like when I need to press record on tape, which is kind of like not the easiest task. This is my map to that. As you can see, it's very clear when to press record and when not.
To do some Kalevala quotes. Kalevala, the national book, the national epic of film. 4 lines. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. Shameless advertising. Beaver Bar, Helsinki. Go there.
Siellä on miehet miakkavyöllä. Urhot sota-aseissa. Humalassa ollut miehet. Pahat paljon juotuansa.
I don't know, I'm trying to be a hobo in a local bar,
Awesome.
And that's something they would expect.
Hell no.
Dramatic. Se. Yes.
Hyvä.
Helvetti. Vitu hyvä.
Miltä tuntuu?
Kiva. Hyvä kunto. Kuunnellaan.
Kuunnellaan.
Mennään kuntoon.